Primary 2012, and we begin with a rumble in the 9th District. It was considered one of the most hotly contested races in the country. Two incumbent Democratic congressmen thrust into the same district, victims of redistricting, forced to fight for their political lives. And it was a fierce battle that took a nasty turn. But in the end, only one was left standing. Joining me now for more, Democratic strategist Leroy Jones Jr., who is a partner of 1868 Public Affairs, and Republican strategist Bill Spadia. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. Let's get right to it. Pascrell and Rothman, one of the nastiest in recent history, and yet Pascrell pulls out by more than 20%. Is this a surprise?
It's a little bit of a surprise. It was supposed to be, a lot closer. Rothman, was, coming out as the, presumptive, winner. But as the campaign rolled on, things changed. And, I think it's a credit to, Bill Pascrell being a retail politician, goes directly to the people, who had a very solid street operation. I mean, when you go back to the beginning of the campaign, he on his petitions, he had 10,000 signatures on his petitions. They registered 12,000 new voters, and they had a street operation that was impeccable and pulled out a tremendous vote.
I think the race has national implications. I mean, here you have Steve Rothman, who was the very first congressman, if not the Northeast, I know in New Jersey, to come out for then Senator Obama during the campaign, and this upset the entire Democratic establishment. Clearly, the Clintons have not forgotten that snub.
Yeah, it went straight up the party.
What's interesting about it is that this district, when it was drawn, was 60% of the district was in Steve Rothman's old district. So the odds were stacked in his favor, but the X factor was former President Bill Clinton, who came in and campaigned for Bill Pascrell.
Yeah.
And look, I think it really speaks to the fact that Bill Clinton has the clout in the Democratic Party, and I think President Obama has got to now watch out where his support is waning a little bit in the grassroots. So as a Republican, this is all good news.
Well, quickly, what do you think that we're facing? What is Pascrell facing now? Is he going to bring another nasty tone as he takes on his Republican opponent?
No, it's a district that is basically a Democratic district. He will take this time to perhaps concentrate on getting his message out. Stumping for Barack Obama. Ensuring that the base comes out for for Barack Obama and Joe Biden come November.
Well, and unfortunately, with the way they draw these districts, that sometimes the primary becomes the general, and I think that is really the feeling. I mean, there's going to be a spirited Republican campaign with Rabbi Shmuley, no question that there's going to be some debates. There'll be a lot of discussion. At the end of the day, Pascrell returns to Washington.
But don't you think the idea that Clinton backed him and Obama didn't come right out is going to play into this? Pascrell is not going to hold any grudges?
No, but the president.
We wish he would.
He's a sitting,
wish he would.
He's a sitting president, and typically don't get involved in primaries like that. That's just how it is. Bill Clinton, clearly, Bill Pascrell supported Hillary Clinton early on.
Yes. So this was a favor, returning the favor?
This was absolutely that. And, and as Bill's right, Clinton still has an ability to generate enthusiasm in the base. And, Bill Pascrell went to, someone that can do that. And, Bill Clinton delivered, extremely well for him.
And it also it's a huge opportunity now for anybody that's not satisfied with how the president is running the campaign or how the president is running the country. These moderate Democrats, middle of the road, blue collar Reagan Democrats. By Bill Pascrell winning, all of a sudden it's kind of opened the door and said, well, it's okay. You don't have to be lockstep with the president. Cory Booker certainly showed that independent streak.
Rothman played himself as a progressive. Do you think this was his downfall?
Well, not so much. I mean, his campaign was his downfall. His strategy was his downfall. It just never went to the people. And there, these primaries are sprints, and they're very strategic. You have to identify your voters. You have to hard ID your voters. He apparently didn't do that. Pascrell did that from day one, as I mentioned. With zeroing in on 10,000 petitioners, 12,000 new voters, and taking it right to the street.
It showed you can't rely on the machine to carry the day. He waited for the establishment Democrats to carry the day. He looked at the numbers, said, well, 60-40, I've got this, and I've got the backing of the guy guy in the White House, and how can I lose? And of course, the minute you start thinking like that in politics is exactly when you lose.
And what happens to Rothman now, do you think?
He writes a book, gets on a couple boards, makes money, right? That's what he does.
I mean, essentially, this was a do-or-die race. Both these congressmen hoping to stay in a district where the voters knew them. They were, you know, hoping to extend their political life. Both these guys have been in Congress for a long time.
Yeah, he's a friend of the president.
Yeah, if the president gets reelected, I'll bet he throws him something.
Yeah.
He'll get something for
But
good
there was,
behavior.
you know, Pasquarello said during this campaign, well, you know, the president didn't come right out and endorse Rothman. He just let him walk by for that photo op, but he didn't actually come out. And he said, I did get an endorsement from President Clinton. So, you know, I mean, do you think that was a problem?
Well, you know, I mean, it's spin, you know, and, you know, he clearly knew that the president couldn't come out for him. He sent David Axelrod here, you know, but that's not Barack Obama.
Well, and I think that hurt him. I'll tell you the truth. I think David Axelrod is doing the president no favors. I mean, he looked very foolish at they had an event at the State House in Massachusetts trying to attack Mitt Romney's record as governor. It looked silly because you had folks here you are in a liberal bastion of Massachusetts where Mitt Romney is, you know, I don't think he's going to win Massachusetts in the race, but to invite the criticism that they invited, to me, it made no sense.
How do we get all the way to Massachusetts?
Listen, stay right there because we're just warming up. We have so much more to talk about. Next, we're going to have much more on Tuesday's primary, including the 10th, where Newark Councilman Donald Payne Jr. wins big and takes one step closer to carrying on his late father's legacy. That and so much more when New Jersey Now continues. Stay with us. Well, the death of Congressman Donald Payne earlier this year opened the door to a contested race in New Jersey's 10th district. The House seat held by the late representative for more than 20 years was now in play. And among the candidates was Newark Councilman Donald Payne Jr., who won handily on Tuesday night, making him a virtual lock to take over his father's mantle. Joining me again for more, Democratic strategist Leroy Jones Jr., who's a partner in 1868 Public Affairs, and Republican strategist Bill Spadia. Welcome back, guys.